Hey, what's up, everyone? Welcome back. I'm Prime.
And I'm Nate. Let's hit it.
Relax and get loose while I put you up on game. The Figure Booth with Josh and Nate. This that podcast for those in the know. Batman vs. Iron Man. How would it go? We talking one of a kind. Collectibles. Mezco toys are respectable. It's unacceptable if it's not in the packaging. Nate don't take pics if you ain't rapping it. Nate's dirty tricks are always happening. But damn it, man, don't you be stressing. Round here we believe in plastic confessions. We trying to figure out the figures that's gonna stand the test of time. That G.I. Joe handmade hit me in the spine. There's perfection in the way that these toys are made. But I also wanna know, do I pick Wade or Slade? So this is where I come to kick it with the guys. The Figure Booth. Like, comment, and subscribe.
What is up, everyone? Welcome back. It's been a good minute, hasn't it?
It has. Feels good to be back in the booth, Bo. Hello everybody. Good to see you guys again. How you been, Prime?
I've been good. I've been crazy busy. It's been a little hectic. If you've been upkeeping with anything I've posted, this crazy, I don't know what has happened, but I made a Star Wars vending machine and it just like took off.
Going up.
So that's been keeping me really, really busy.
That's awesome, man. And I saw you did a new, hopefully, I think you revealed this already, but you did a racing arcade.
Oh, yeah. I did the Cruising World, which NYC Figure Fanatic, he tested me with a challenge. And thank you, my dude. Like, I came and delivered.
It's great.
I did a sit-down version for him, but this guy's always pushing my buttons in a good way. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you got to have somebody that's always kind of like pushing you,
bugging you,
making you just go a little bit further. You know, what can I do?
Yeah, and as always, I always appreciate the support that all y'all give me. So it's good. It keeps me on my toes. Or else what would I do with myself? Real quick. All right, folks, welcome back. We had a quick intermission because Nate forgot to pay his Wi-Fi bill, but that's okay. The show must continue. And you've come to episode 98, which we are calling Legends Never Die. That should be a little Easter egg to who our guest is, because we haven't done a guest in some time. So without further ado, this man needs no introduction, so I probably won't give him one, but we'll get him in the hot seat and we'll introduce him to the Figure Booth. Let's welcome none other than Dan the Man. What's up, Dan?
Yo. Hello, everyone. Thanks, Prime, for having me. I'm sorry that I must have messed up Nate's Wi-Fi, man. You know what I mean?
I think it's all his pre-orders. You know, his pre-orders. He got this itch, this new bug that I've been, trying to plant the seed, and I think he finally bit. But he's been on his Marvel Legends kick lately with X-Men 97, and
nice.
He's been hunting and tracking down all the latest Legends. So I think all those pre-orders are just took out his Wi-Fi.
Just stacking up. All right. Okay. Well, I mean, I know we said it offline, but I definitely wanted to come by the Figure Booth like a year ago, to be honest with you. And I'm sorry that it took so long for me to like finally hop on. And I'm glad that we found some time to talk. You know what I mean? Like, shout out to you guys. Like, Prime, I still have the arcade that you gave me. Yeah, when I was in Atlanta, man. And it's in one of my other secret warehouses where I stash all my stuff, so I can't bring it out now. But it has a special place in my collection. Oh, there he is.
There you go. Hey,
sorry guys.
I told Dan it's the pre-orders, so it's all good.
Wi-Fi bill or pre-orders?
It's funny, Dan, because I think it's time for an update. So we'll link up, and I'll send you a updated version.
All right, cool. I appreciate that.
Yeah, for sure, man. It's always good. So yes, we are stoked. It's great things happen to those that wait. So I'm glad that we were able finally to get you on to the Figure Booth, because it's we just have to. We're getting close to that centennial episode, and what better way to like bring on some heavy hitters before you never know what happens. So I guess we'll dive into, and a lot of our focus, we want to really get to know. One quick disclaimer to you guys who are watching us or listening to us: this is not like Marvel Legends, like reveal stuff. Now we got Dan just so we can know more about Dan, see the other side, see the dark side, the good side that we don't see. So we want to like really pick his brain, get to know what makes him tick, what drives his compass when it comes to his collection. How did he get into collecting? Because that's really what we like to kind of talk about, share our grievances, share our plastic confessions here. So tell us a little bit about like your journey. How did you start into collecting?
Yeah, no, I mean, so first off, I just want to, I have to put out a disclaimer that whatever I say is my own personal opinion, has no reflection on Marvel Legends or any of our partners or Hasbro or anything like that. And yeah, so hopefully you guys don't cut it up and send it over to Hasbro or anything like that. And yeah, no, like I apologize again because I think I've told this story to other, live streams and podcasts too. But the gist of it is when I was growing up, I had an affinity for, toys, sneakers, things of that nature, but I just was not in a financial position where I could afford anything, right? So
Sure.
I would always be the kid in Toys R Us or KB Toys. Of course, I wanted like more toys and stuff, but I just knew our family just didn't have that position, right? So
Sure.
Fast forward to like really, really fast forward. I'm in my MBA internship at Hasbro in Rhode Island, right?
Okay.
And in the MBA programs for full-time MBAers, like your internship is like very, very important. If you don't have a summer internship, it's like it's kind of looked badly, I would say.
Yeah.
Because that's like a stepping stone into potentially job offers in the future.
Sure.
And those are the connection points, right? So in Hasbro, there used to be this really competitive kind of like MBA program where students from different like schools would come and we'd basically try to work as hard as possible to get a full-time offer at the end of the internship. And so I was just very fortunate and blessed. I worked my ass off in Monopoly and games in the US global team or the US Hasbro team. And yeah, by God's grace, they gave me an offer. And so when I got that offer, everybody thinks like you could just kind of choose what brand you want to work on and everything like that.
Yeah.
And the brand that I got was like Baby Alive, which was not my, like, I didn't know anything about baby dolls, man. Like I really thought I would go back to the US and work on Monopoly and work on games because games at that time was super, super popular and it was so much fun. And I loved that Providence office so much. And then they told me, no, the position is in global headquarters, which is in like Pawtucket, Rhode Island. No shade to Pawtucket or anything like that, but it was just a different office. And it was a brand I had no idea about, you know what I mean? And from there, Hasbro in that office has a toy shop and people could get like 50% off of like a regular price figure or stuff like that. And from there, within that little toy store, I saw like a Marvel Legend and it kicked like kickstarted my drive to being like, I don't have that much money, but I could start like actually getting some toys that I like. And at the time, I was so ignorant of the whole community. I was so ignorant of this hobby that I just thought it was something that I wanted to do on my own. And then when I did more research and I looked online and stuff like that, like, it's like, no, it's a community, you know what I mean?
Right.
And
Yeah.
And I was very fortunate. I had to work and I learned a lot from Baby Alive. But I knew that my passion was like different brands within Hasbro too. And so when there was an opportunity, I was able to finally apply for a position in Marvel. And it wasn't even Marvel Legends. It was just like, I just told the VP at the time, like, hey, I'm really passionate about Marvel. I love Marvel. I think I can add value to your team. Like, if there's any spot, please let me know and I'd be interested. I'll apply, And I think people in our community don't realize this, but like Hasbro has so many brands. And even within the Marvel portfolio, there is sub segments, right? So there's like a kid marketing team. There's a preschool marketing team. There's like a kid Star Wars team. There's there's so many brands, right? So even when I put my hat in the ring for Marvel, I didn't even know there would be an opportunity at Marvel Legends. Like that was like the dream, you know what I mean?
Right.
And on vacation, I was with my girlfriend at the time, who's now my wife. It's my first time in Spain. I'm a big soccer guy, so like I went to Barcelona to watch Lionel Messi play in the Champions League. And that day, that night after the game, I get like a voicemail on like WhatsApp, and it's that VP, and he he left a message saying, "Hey, give me a call back." And I'm like kind of drunk, to be honest with you, because like
you went to go see Messi. Like, come on,
having a good time.
I'm having a good time. So I thought it was like a prank, and then like I call him, and he's like, "Hey, would you like to work on Marvel Legends?" I was like, "Yes."
Wow.
And it was like the best. That was like the best like moment for Hasbro for me. Was just getting the opportunity, just being there with my future wife in Barcelona, which is a beautiful city, and seeing Messi, and then getting that job offer. So I was very fortunate. I put in the work, right? So it wasn't just like luck, but at the same time, you know, I have to always give thanks to and all the glory to God, because the position that I'm in right now is because a lot of hard work, but a lot of luck and a lot of like opportunity came through.
Yeah, and it seems like you have a tremendous work ethic, because you know you're going through this MBA program. Was marketing always within something like, okay, I know I want to be in this field?
In Hasbro, I knew I wanted to do marketing because my MBA program had nothing to do with engineering. It had nothing to do with design. It didn't have anything to do with the other subcategories. So marketing was like the only thing that I was really applying for. I will say, to be honest with you, when I was in my MBA program, I didn't know if I wanted to be a marketer, because like in the MBA program, you have to kind of make a concentration decision. Like, do you want to go to finance? You want to go consulting? You want to do marketing or whatever? And again, like I just prayed a lot and I did a lot of research, and that's what kind of came to my lap. That opportunity came, and I'm a very competitive person. So if you put me in a competitive environment, like I want to be number one. I want to like win the spot. You know what I mean? And so at the time, I didn't know for sure that like this was my passion to be a marketer or something like that. And to be honest, I don't know if being a marketer is my passion, if I'm being honest. It's just that the opportunity came, and I'm just very fortunate to get that. I don't know if that answered your question though, but
no, that does, because I think the passion's there, and I think when you believe in the purpose and it's your own like vision statement, your own mission and vision statement that you're seeing, you're like, hey, I just want to be number one. And I think that comes across, especially like, you know, I think the challenges that the community, when it comes to action figures, we've all been through that pandemic, and we've seen what it did to not only a lot of other toy lines where either things were delayed or stuff started disappearing, like everybody was being frantic, but then like you saw the silver lining where you start. I feel like you guys really started leading, being trailblazers in doing that stream, like really, I think, connecting with the community. And it's like all of a sudden it was like a breath of fresh air, where even though some of those streams were kind of crazy when it comes to the comment section, but it's like you didn't see too many other companies doing that because everybody was like in frantic mode. But I think what's been consistent when it comes to like the interactions I've had with you, it's like you're always passionate about what you're focused on, what you're doing. Like you're staying in your own lane, but like to your point, you're making sure that you are number one. So I think it comes across in what you do and how you present yourself. So no, you definitely answered the question.
Yeah, and I love the story, man. You know, the hard work that you had to do to get to where you are, because it's important to recognize that you don't get what you want for free. You know, all good things take some hard work. The MBA program, the internship, you started in a line maybe that you weren't necessarily passionate about, but you made the best of it. And maybe that experience is what sets you up in a good position to go into Marvel.
Yeah. So, not to interrupt, but like 100%, like, even though Baby Alive, again, I knew nothing about baby dolls, and I didn't have any inclination towards it, to be honest with you. I was just happy to get a job. But
there you go.
But that brand, the people there, really built me to the inner workings of how the toy is made in Hasbro. You know what I mean? And it was like, it was a place in time where I could really cut my teeth, make my bones, you know, all the cliches out there. And it made me a better person and marketer for Hasbro. yeah, if it wasn't for that Baby Alive team, I don't know if I would ever have the opportunity to be in Marvel Legends. So very fortunate for that.
Yeah, that's awesome. I think it's important to recognize that because, you hear people in the community like, I could work for Hasbro. Like, could you really though? You got to really understand what goes into that. Like, do you have the experience? Do you have the passion for it? Are you willing to put in the hard work? Because you're not just going to walk in the door and get a job in Marvel. You're going to have to show some experience there. And it's awesome that you're making the best of it. And, it sounds like that discount that you get, the 50% off, is kind of like a double-edged sword where, hey, this is awesome to have, but now it's sort of created this other side of my collection, and it's becoming a monster.
Yeah, I don't even know if it's 50% anymore, but like once I figured out that there was like Marvel Legends at that store, I would always go there. I would get games, I'd get Nerf blasters and stuff like that. It was a problem until my wife became my wife and was like, yo, we don't have space. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But the wives maybe don't always say yes, but they at least keep you grounded, right? It's like,
exactly.
I get you want this stuff, but let's be realistic here. We don't have room for all of this.
For real.
That's awesome. So, like, as you're working in Marvel now, and I know that there's probably things that you can't tell us and things that you can, but what's like a typical day look like for you as a brand manager in global product development and marketing?
Yeah, so that's a great question. So my position again is a global position. So I'm not working in just one country or one region. So for me, when I wake up, I have tons of emails, right? I get emails from, I would say there are like 4 main stakeholders. Okay. So one is like my direct bosses on the global side. One would be Marvel and Disney, like our partners. One would be the regions. So like all the strategy, all the product information that I have to disseminate to the markets. And then another stakeholder would be my development team, which would be like, our engineer, Dwight, and things of that nature, the sculptors and stuff like that, right? And so with all those stakeholders, there are a lot of emails I need to send out, a lot of confirmations I need to like double check, whether it be, okay, the product came in, schedule and see if the e-com shoot is going out well, right? So like one day, half the day I'll be looking at like the product via email to see if the pre-production looks good from our engineer and things of that nature. Other times I'll get like a lot of tasks because we have a lot of internal meetings. So when people think of marketers, they think of like Don Draper from like Mad Men, right? You're like pitching like creative ideas and you're always like making cool stories and like in a suit and all that. The reality as a marketer is basically you're working with numbers to kind of optimize the business of what the product should be, right? And I think people forget that ultimately it's not a charity. It's like, it is a business, right? And when we live in a capitalistic society where, I'm not going to go too much into that, but basically my job is to make sure that my bosses are happy with where the trajectory of the Legends business is going. So a big chunk of my emails are also making sure that the internal meetings that we have to really come up with the strategy, that takes a big portion of my time. Again, taking that strategy and taking that product and disseminating that information and the tactics to each market and region is also a big part of my job. So making sure everything is aligned and helping the markets out, like if they need to talk to the sales team in a retailer like Walmart or Target or Amazon, things of that nature. And so there's just a lot of big but also little things that need to go on. And obviously there's Marvel. So we always have like a Marvel meeting or talking to them, making sure that, like shout out to Jesse Falcon, who we work with on a weekly basis. Like he's seeing everything that's going well, right? So I have sort of like my fingerprints on a lot of things that happen, and it's not, and a very small, very small portion is like doing those live streams, doing the things that are externally facing. You know what I mean? And I feel like people see be like maybe 2 or 3% of my job, and they think that is like my full-time job, just to like come on a live stream, like pick characters out of a hat or something. So we're gonna make this for like 2025 or 2026. And that is a very, very small portion. And the biggest thing that I continuously face on a day-to-day is it's a collaborative process. So I think in an ideal world, if somebody says, oh, I could do, Dan's job, which you probably can't do my job, right? But I think in their mind, they're saying, I'll just pick XYZ character and it'll sell $1 million from that figure, right? Why can't they just choose the characters that I know will sell well, that I love, right? And
you hear that a lot.
And it's not that simple, right? And at my level, you're definitely not making the decisions. You're the one trying to persuade people and nudge people to do the right, what you think was the best. But at the end of the day, it's a collaborative decision that needs to come at a consensus level. And I don't think people realize how hard that is too, because what you might think in your brain is like the right thing is obviously not what everybody thinks. And so it's always a challenge to try to persuade people to see your point of view and see your vision. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh yeah. I can see. I mean, that's quite the challenge, especially when you're trying to please a lot of stakeholders on both ends. Like the relationship needs to be one mutual, but at the same time, you have to present it as beneficial to forecast even more longevity to the line. You want to be able to continue it and not pick characters where they're going to sit on shelves and no one is going to be picking them or showing up. Again, we joke around where Nate's going to show up with his Sharpie and just start painting figures. It's not that easy, and as I'm hearing you, just your day-to-day stuff, when it comes to just your day-to-day interactions, it brings to mind the analogy of the iceberg, where a lot of us don't know. We're only seeing the tip of the iceberg, but there's so much more to it underneath the surface, where it is huge collaboration to make a lot of things happen, to keep things on schedule, to try to control those things that are outside of our control. So I can definitely understand those efforts. And at the end of the day, it's tough sometimes being a collector, where I'm like, you guys gotta. And I don't know if it could be a generational thing or if you don't have the experience. I was listening to a work video right now where the speaker was talking about being an expert and experience is really a very common relation, because a lot of times the experts, you rely on that experience that you bring. So, working in a similar corporate world where there's, I handle various large projects for an organization, and we have multiple stakeholders and there's vendors to deal with, and trying to coordinate all that, and then to launch something that's going to affect hundreds and thousands of individuals without a hitch, like. And if it does go good, it's like, yes. But when it doesn't go good, of course, like, it's pretty messy. So that is stressful, and it's nowhere near on your level where you're dealing with international. Like, I could only imagine, like, that's a heavy weight to be carrying. But when it comes to the streaming, it's like 1 or 2% of what it actually entails.
Yeah, but like, and I don't want it to sound too gloomy. Like my job, especially compared to my previous role, I have no complaints about it, right? I mean, I do have complaints, but like, it's all about perspective, right? Like, I feel very blessed to be in the position that I'm at, and for my family. And the other stakeholder that we always, like, me and Ryan try to always hold on to is the community too, because we know that the community is very important. And that's one thing that I hope you guys can see, that we try to be very, very transparent and try to be open, and we try to be communicative as much as we can too, so that the community feels like they're involved in it and somehow as well. And we take the feedback as much as we can as well too. So whenever we see you guys at conventions or even online, like, we take that input,
No, and I think you guys have been trendsetters in that, where, like, if it's not Ryan giving shout outs or Dwight giving shout outs, or even like you gave a shout out when you guys announced the Armor Spider-Man. It was like the Billy Moon Spider-Man. Like, that was crazy. Like, people were just like, you know, within our circles, everyone's like, oh damn, like, oh what, like Dan said Billy Moon's name, like that type of stuff. You know, you got Ryan showing up on the Neighbors and stuff like that. So it's like, it's that type of camaraderie where it's like, okay, at the end of the day, they have our back to a certain extent. So it's like, hopefully the ones that go a little too much, they can kind of like, the rest of us can kind of tell them to, hey, just get off the ledge, come back down with the rest of us, and let's just enjoy the show. Yeah.
Yeah, and even though it's such a small part of what you do, I think it makes such a huge impact, which in what Prime is trying to say. There's toy companies out there that maybe don't have that great of engagement, and fans wish that they had something where they could go into like an interactive live stream and just kind of see what's going on and who's behind the scenes and, you know, what are you guys working on? So I think that, you know, it's an important piece that you guys really focus on from a customer standpoint. I think it really helps your brand, at least in my perspective. I know people might disagree, but just being able to get to see it and kind of talk in the chat, and you guys are, you know, excited about what you're talking about, and that really comes through in the product. And, you know, people aren't always going to get what they want. That's the thing I think about your role that makes it even more difficult. It's a global team, right? And these are global customers. So what might appeal to an American customer isn't necessarily going to appeal to the rest of the world. So you guys have to kind of think about that on a global scale. So how do you guys deal with those challenges to make sure you're offering characters and products that's going to appeal to everyone?
Yeah, so that's why it's really important. One of the key stakeholders I was trying to say was like the regional teams. Like, so for instance, like the UK team, Brandon sort of leads it now recently. But even before Brandon, like I would need to like, that's why on a daily basis, I'm like trying to figure out, hey, what can we do to make sure that the UK fan is happy, right? This is, now think about it. This is easy for me and Brandon because we both speak English, right? But let's say I have to talk to, you know, the team in Brazil, which I love. Shout out to the Brazil team. But like sometimes it's difficult for me without them to even know what characters might resonate more, right? But there are also some characters like Spider-Man, for instance, that's going to be universally popular no matter what region it is. So we have ways to kind of like gauge. But I will say that, especially when I see it online, I can understand why people would think, you know, our direction and focus is only on North America or the US, but it's just human nature too, because I live in the US, right? So I know more of the community here in the US and their perspective, but we also try to see our blind spots when it comes to other countries and other languages and other consumers and fans out there. I will say too that I think people fail to realize too is that like even within the toy community, our action figure collecting community is niche too. So within the greater Hasbro building, there might be people who are not aware of what the community is truly like. And that's why it's important to have people like Brian, like Dwight, to try to persuade and nudge these other stakeholders to being like, hey, this is not what the community would probably want to buy, right? Because at the end of the day, we want to entice you guys to purchase our stuff, right? So it's our own internal marketing that we need to educate those key stakeholders too, to being hey, this is what it's like. And sometimes when it's somebody who's like really green to Hasbro or who might have a lot of experience, let's say in like the baby doll like expert, when they come to the action figure like community, we need to like educate them from like day one, you know what I mean? And that's not something that education itself takes like months to kind of learn too. So whenever people see, like I see online all the time, it's like our company made this decision or something like that. And they only see it from the lens and perspective of a collector. But I think people need to also see like, you know, we do Wizards of the Coast stuff. We do Peppa Pig. We do all this other stuff too. You know what I mean? So it's our segment and is a very small portion of the entire like awesome Hasbro portfolio. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Right. Yeah, it's a huge corporation, and like you're talking about, the Marvel Legends side is a small fraction of the total business.
Yeah.
So keeping that in mind, there's
Go ahead. Sorry, I keep interrupting. My bad.
No. You bring in a lot of great feedback and like input from your side of the business, like stuff that we just don't maybe understand as collectors, which is I think really important for education purposes. You know, people out there that maybe are naysayers or why don't they just easily do this? You know, it's not as easy as you might think. So like, you know, you've kind of talked about this a little bit, but can you give us sort of like a brief walkthrough of the concept to creation when you guys like, okay, we want to create this character. How does that sort of go on your side? And you can be brief because I know you maybe have already talked about some of it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to go too deep because to be honest, sometimes characters get chosen in different processes, right? Like sometimes a character is like sometimes Marvel will be like, this character from this movie is going to be super strong, super popular, key character in the movie. So make it happen. Right. And so at that point, it's not really our choice or something that we need to like bring up. Right. Because we already know it's going to be backed by the movie. And then we just need to work very closely with Marvel. And again, I am the global marketer, but I also try to leave a lot of the design, the sculpt and stuff like that input. I want to leave it to our head sculptor. I want to leave that to design. I want to leave that to engineering. So I will get like updates and I will have a say in it. But at the end of the day, I also don't want to cross any lines of like, hey, that's design's forte. I could give my input, right?
Yeah.
But that's their domain. You know what I mean? So that's one example. Right. There are other examples where I joke where we have these big breakdance meetings or rap battles, and we each have like a favorite of what we think is going to work. But it's not really like that all the time, right? Oftentimes we look at things on a yearly basis, right? So right now I'm working on 2026 already. So if you're asking in the chat, like make something for the next live stream, it's not going to happen. I'm sorry.
You're like, sure, it'd be 2030.
Yeah, 2024 is already baked. All right, guys, my bad. But and a lot of 2025 is too. So we look at things from a yearly basis and we sort of get a strategy of how many items are made. And then slowly it's a very iterative process, almost on a weekly basis of like, this is what we want to do, or Marvel coming to us, or sometimes the regions come to us and being like, these are the things that we need. And yeah, we try to make that happen. And it's a long, I wish Dwight was here because he could go into more details about every stage and step, but it's a long, like 13-month process for development. But in terms of just like character selection, because I know that's like the biggest question that we get from a marketing standpoint is like, it's a very nebulous kind of process, to be honest. It's not always very clear cut.
And sometimes lately it's been, I mean, I don't know. I feel like you guys are part-time fortune tellers because sometimes it's just like, I don't know. It's just crazy because the waves just make sense. Like it's like you said, okay, so, you know, the next year, 2024, 2025, you know, you're working on stuff for 2026. And from a collector standpoint, again, they you know, we can think, oh, for the next stream, why don't you guys do this? Thinking like, oh, it's gonna take you guys a couple months, and then I could have it by the end of the year or stuff like that. Where you already forecasted, like we already got the lineup. But from our point, when it's hitting, like you had some of these figures, like, you know, you had Hank here. Who knows when he was already like, okay, he's gonna come out. Obviously, with the HasLab stuff was already set up to where when we were getting it, we're like, damn, this makes so much sense now. It's like sometimes you just gotta trust the process. Like these guys are in a position because, again, there's a whole team behind it. There's mechanics that it kind of makes sense. Like there's a business model for it, and it kind of it works out. And when sometimes these waves be hitting, where it's like, where are they? It may seem random, but it's something when I sit back and lately I've been picking up, man, I've been picking up a lot of legends lately, and I'm like, damn, this. You know what? I think there's a method to this madness, which at the end of the day, like it brings a smile to my face. I'm cracking them open. I'm like, damn, these things are nice. Like I've been collecting legends since the Toy Biz era when they first rolled out. When man, like that's crazy. Those over 20 years. When I was 20, you know, I was like 19, picking up legends, and it's the progression and the evolution of the figure, man. Especially lately with the new ones. Oh my god, I'm like, I gotta put on 2 pairs of socks because they keep constantly getting blown off. That's all I'm saying. It's like y'all doing magic out there.
No, I
mean,
appreciate it.
It's just credit to the work you guys are doing as far as the timing, right? You know,
I just want to say though, like honestly, because it's easy to hear that, and I know Ryan, myself, and Dwight are always like sort of the face of it, but they're such a big team that never gets all the credit from the fans too, of everything that goes into the process, whether it be our external like vendors, our partners in Marvel, our whole PDE team in Asia that like are in the factories making it. Like I always try to give them as much credit as possible, right? And if I had the time and the ability to shout out names like the entire stream, I would do that, right? But yeah, man, like lately, we're just fortunate, and I hope we can enjoy some good stuff. There's some stuff that are cooking that we haven't revealed yet that we're pretty excited about. But right now, everybody seems to be enjoying like the 85th stuff and the X-Men 97 stuff. And so
and like that's a perfect example. It's just like everything's like cooking. It's like the 97 stuff. When the show was first revealed, I was like, and then the minute the show hit, like everyone became a fan of X-Men 97. So the figures were like crazy high demand. But all the stuff that I feel like all the stuff that's been hitting, even when it's first revealed, yes, everyone's crazy. They either love it or hate it. But then the minute most of us get it in our hands, we're like, oh, we want more of it. And then it's like, then the waves start coming. It's like, oh, you guys are giving us too much. But I don't know. It's like, it is a great time to be a collector because the plethora of choices of action figures from different companies and just the different type of characters that we have, like my Spider-Man shelf has never looked so great. It's I got also I just ended up getting Spider-Shot, Last Dance Spider-Man. It's like they're great additions, which I again from the Toy Biz era, I never would have thought I'd have a Spider-Shot or a Last Man Standing or or a Scarlet Spidey in that so many iterations that he's gone through. It's like I have my Toy Biz Scarlet Spidey and I'm like, man, what was I thinking back then?
No, it's just I feel very fortunate to have Dwight and the rest of the development team, the other big stakeholders that I work with. And again, I just feel blessed and fortunate. And I don't want to make you guys look like shills or whatever. Like I know there's that whole segment of people who say like whatever. So I guess what I'm trying to say is like these guys are authentic, and I hope that it doesn't come off as like anything like that. Like I understand that our figures are not perfect at all by any means. And there are some other great competitors that make some great stuff. I will say that our team, like the development team specifically, works tremendously hard, given the restraints and the constraints, I should say, and the guardrails that we do have from a corporate standpoint sometimes, or just like whatever situation. And like they really don't get enough credit, I think. So shout out to my boys if they ever see and the ladies in our team. I hope you guys.
And I think it's that competitive nature, like if you guys are really, delivering great product, that's only going to make those that are in the same market to be like, hey, you know what, we need to step it up too. And if everyone's really stepping it up, like we're really, you look around, we're really getting great quality from all over. Like it doesn't, to me, I go to the shelves. Sometimes there's stuff there, but when there's stuff there, I'm like, oh my god, it's from everywhere. Like all these manufacturers that you got, NECA, you got DC, Todd McFarlane, like everyone's just GI Joe team. Like it's just, I'm like, man, where my cart? I came in for milk. I got like, it's like now I have to go with the permission slip. My wife's like, no, you can't go to Target by yourself because you're gonna come back with a tune pack and a couple legends, and I'm like, sorry. So
we will just say that these opinions of me and Prime are not solicited by Dan. These are our own personal opinions. That's important to put out there. But we've kind of talked about this a little bit. The innovation in your guys' design in Legends and just all areas of some of the figures that you're doing, but specifically focusing on the Marvel side. You're seeing pinless figures are becoming much more regular now. Improved body designs. You've got the HasLab projects. That is a fairly new thing. I know it's been going on for a few years now, but it's still a newer concept. So you guys are continually innovating in your design, and I think that's huge. Like Prime knows I'm not a huge Legends collector, but X-Men 97 wave hit. I can't resist them. They're amazing figures. I got She-Hulk up here that I haven't even opened yet. I'm looking forward to what you guys are doing next. I've been converting you know, some of
Yes.
maybe my more premium stuff like Mafex for X-Men, and I'm going into Legends because you guys keep on, you know, upping the ante as far as the figures, and I'm loving it. So I think that innovation that you guys are doing is huge. You know, is there any like of your memorable projects that you've done, like any accomplishments that you've been a part of that you're like, man, I'm so glad that we did that?
Oh, that's so like personal. I should have come prepared more.
Sorry to put you on the spot.
No, you're good. You're good. I think so. First of all, before I answer that question, I'm sorry I keep not answering the correct questions directly. But first off, I do want to say to the fans too, like, we don't want to hear just like bullshit praise either, right? Like, the reason why we keep innovating in articulation and design is because we also, like, my job is to hear what the community is saying and trying to see if we can incorporate things so that we're not complacent too, right? And that helps with what you were saying, Prime, about like making everybody like all boats have to step up their game. You know what I mean? So yeah, I know, Nate, when you're listing off things like pinless tech and all this other stuff, I'm sure there's a fan out there who's saying we're behind the curve, right? We're not even like leading it right now, right? And they want us to catch up in certain aspects, and I recognize that too.
Sure.
I guess to answer your question though, like, my point before that is just to say that like my team knows that, and they are still doing the best to not be complacent at all and trying to make the best innovation continuously and to push that innovation. It's not going to be every single figure that we pump out because we pump out a lot of figures. So like if you're expecting the most articulated, most designed up figure for every single release, I don't think that is realistic for our business, to be honest with you. So, but I guess my point is like, keep your honesty. That is what I like. I just don't like two-faced people, like who bash us on one end and then like praise us on the other end. You know what I mean? So like, just be your authentic selves and like, and be respectful about the product. Don't make it personal. Just make it Just make it about, you know, the product itself. You know what I mean? That was my stalling way of trying to find some ideas to how to answer
no, I mean, that's good feedback too.
Yeah.
I think one of the things that I was really proud of was like the first HasLab that we successfully did. I literally called up Dwight and Ryan because we were all working so hard to get it going. And because it actually took some time to like convince internally all the other stakeholders that we're going to do this HasLab. And, you know, and that was a big win. Anytime I get to do anything Spider-Man like animated, because I love the Spider-Man, like on the team, I'm probably the biggest proponent of Spider-Man animated, or anything animated related. I'm pretty much like a big proponent of. And so anytime we get to see some of the characters that we really pushed and see it actually come to life, I think those are the kind of things that stand out to me. The moments, like for instance, like the thing that stands up to me was I was on the Unparalleled Universe live stream.
Not that guy.
When the Giant Man came out, right, with Tuesday Crew. And at that time, it still wasn't like funded yet, and we literally had like only a couple hours before like whether it would fail or not. And I didn't sleep that week because I was trying to find ways to make it happen. And it's those type of moments where I could like share it with the community live, and that makes it pretty special. You know what I mean? So I don't know if that answers your question, Nate. I apologize.
No, it does. No, it does.
Yeah, it does. Yeah. Well, I think I remember watching that stream and I was like, I'm gonna wait because I want to be like that one backer that just breaks it over. And then by the time by the time I like entered, I was like, wait, I don't want to miss out either. So
which I think it's cool that you have that digital presence too. You know, you're a part of the company, but you're also like an individual that's excited about the product.
Yeah.
And that community, customer engagement, community engagement, whatever you want to call it. It's awesome because like, okay, this guy's just a normal guy. You know, he works at Hasbro and obviously he's got a cool job, but he's also just a fan of the product too. So I think it's cool that you do that. And I've seen other guys from Hasbro also be involved in the community. It's clear that you guys want to have that digital presence, with the live streams that you do. I think during the pandemic, it's become a much bigger part of the community as well. So that Prime said this earlier, the timing of when you guys started doing that, I think it's just is so perfect because it just really kind of evolved into what you're seeing in other, live streamers and other companies out there that are also kind of doing their streaming. It's sort of just become its own thing.
That's a norm.
And I feel like you guys were sort of the pioneers during doing that during COVID and making it more normalized, I guess is what I'm saying. So thank you for that, because it's cool from a fan's perspective.
Yeah.
I can't take credit for that at all. I mean, that goes to a lot of other people too, but shout out to all my fellow Hasbro people who are like this, like Emily, Lenny, like Tony, this Jing, like the whole Star Wars team, Transformers team, BMAC. We try our best. A lot of us are very, very different too, right? So we all have our unique type of voices when it comes to how we do our things. You know what I mean? Like, for instance, I think Steve Evans, Mr. Stevie, he's great. He makes some awesome content on his IG. Make sure you follow Mr. Stevie. And I'm like the complete opposite. Like I like to be private, like, to be honest with you, right? And but I know that if I don't engage digitally, at least, it's like missing out, right? And through these like online platforms, like I've actually genuinely made like friendships too. You know what I mean? So there's it's awesome to be part of the community. So hopefully, even if I'm no longer in Hasbro for some reason, I could always look back and still be a part of the community, collecting toys and stuff like that,
Yeah, for sure.
So I just real quick, I want to pivot to kind of like, what was that legend that you first bought? That, like, what was it that caught your attention? You're like, oh, let me get this figure.
Man, I think it was honestly somebody in the Apocalypse wave, or maybe not. No, now I'm trying to think which one it was, because it was definitely a Build-A-Figure, but now I'm trying to remember which one it was exactly. I've been like hitting the head so many times, I'm like forgetting things.
Yeah.
But I'm pretty sure it was something that was in the Apocalypse wave or one of the older waves that now I'm like not remembering.
And
the one thing that I will say though is like there was a Spider-Man figure too also that I didn't pick up. But Spider-Man as an action figure, anytime there's like a Spider-Man, it's like it's so hard for me not to pull the trigger. Like I have like a couple of Spider-Man Moff X's too that I love. I love that Black Moff X one. That one's awesome.
So, and that kind of was going to lead to my next question. It's like, so what does your collection look like? Like, I'm just gonna you have every single Marvel Legend, but then like, what else? What tickles your fancy?
Yeah, so I'm very like property based. So I have a couple of Moff X stuff because I think I love their articulation, right? And I love like the accessories. So I have like I have the Michael Jordan figures. I have a LeBron, I think, from them. I have a couple of Spideys. I have Nightwing. I have a couple of other DC stuff. I collect a lot of SH stuff because I'm really into Naruto. I'm really into DBZ. So I have a lot of DBZ Naruto figures from SH. I have some G.I. Joe stuff because, I got to support my fellow action figure heads. And I have, I think, a couple of Black Series stuff because, like, my brother loves fucking Star Wars more than Marvel, man. It's
gone to the dark side.
Yeah.
Everybody's got their thing.
Yeah. And I have some Jada stuff because I love the Street Fighter line that they have. Shout out to them. That's the other thing too. Even with our competition, it'd be so much easier, man, if I hated these mofos like in the other brands. But nah, they're all super nice within like the toy making community too. Super 7, like Kyle hits me up with like hip hop stuff because he knows I listen to hip hop. So anytime there's like a hip hop figure, I'll definitely like get an Ultimates version or something like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, those are my big things. I collect sneakers too, but I think I'm gonna have to quit that now since they're too expensive. And
dangerous game.
Yeah, it's really bad. So, and I have caps. I have a crap ton of like Mets caps and stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, off the top of the dome, those are what I collect usually. Yeah.
That was a laundry list of items. I mean, that's how most of us collectors are. Like, we can go through the list, like, I collect this, I collect that. And it's funny because when you said the hip hop, you had posted like when Marvel did the hip hop covers, and it was like a hard book. And I was like, oh damn. Like, I told my wife, I'm like, I need to have this. And then she stayed quiet, like no acknowledgement, nothing. I was like, what? And then for Christmas, I ended up getting it. But I was like, man, if you hadn't put, I don't know how it got. I used to be a really hardcore comic collector, so I had a good pulse check on that bit with all these figures and everything and kids. And you just watch till your little one comes in. It totally takes you out of like, how am I even awake right now? I'm like 1 hour of sleep. So when you posted that, I was like, how did that get slipped? How did that get past me? So that was dope. I'm so stoked. I have it up here in the room with me, and that's such a dope cover.
I love that. Like, I think my wife actually found that for me too, and she was like, I think you would like this. And oh my god, it's so good, man. So good.
Yeah, that was awesome. It was a good hardcover of all the Marvel comics that they did with different hip hop covers on there. It was so dope.
Well, man, I feel like we're just scratching the surface of the things that we could talk to you about, but we do have to move on to the next part of the show at some point. So
let's go.
Let's move into what we like to call the Dirty Dozen. And I think for this one, it might be a little different for Dan because of the unique position that he's in. We're doing like a what if version of the Dirty Dozen. Prime, give him kind of a rundown.
Yeah, so you have all you have the gauntlet. So you have all the creative powers, you have unlimited funds, unlimited stakeholders, just unlimited. The universe is in your pocket, Dan. So what we're gonna do is a brand is gonna pop up, and either you can tell us what would be your first character, or what would be like your first wave, or what would you want to tackle if you were in charge of this company? You're the CEO,
all the
designer team. You're all of it. You own it all. So it'll pop up and it'll be like, hey, what comes to mind? What would you do if you were in charge of this this property? And again, it's just what if. It's make believe.
Is this like a rapid fire thing, or do I have to like explain each thing? You know what I mean?
Nope, it's kind of rapid fire.
Oh, yeah.
Rapid fire. It'd just be like, hey, if I was in charge of, I would do this. This is the one character I would want to see it in this form.
Oh man, I might suck at this game. My bad.
So like, boom, you're in charge of NECA. That's it. You have all the power, all the funds. You can do like licenses. You have no constraints. You're in charge of NECA. What would be the first thing you tackle? Like, what movie would you do?
Man,
I can narrow it down.
Oh, geez, this is tough.
Like, what movie would you do? Like, NECA's known for horror movies. They do TMNT tunes. They do. But what movie would you do? Or cartoon would you tackle? Yeah. What would Dan do?
I would make, and I know maybe McFarlane's already doing this, but I would love like a Matrix line. Like, honestly,
there you go. NECA Matrix.
Awesome. That'd be rad, actually.
Yeah.
I can't remember the last time we've had any Matrix figures, and I know it's
imagine NECA doing Matrix. Yeah, that'd be
all
cool.
The accessories they do.
Awesome.
Yeah,
I like
that. All right, Mattel.
What property would you tackle?
Man, this is hard. To be honest, man, like, I want Mattel to take DC. Like, I really.
There you go. Yeah.
There you go.
Want them to
that would be cool.
DC.
So okay, so So if you tackle DC, what would be the first character you'd make?
I would, and this kind of shows my age, but I was a big Batman Beyond fan, so I really like.
Oh yeah.
I really want figures
that's
from that.
Awesome. Yeah.
Yes.
Nice.
Give me an old man Bruce or a Terry McGinnis.
Terry McGinnis, yeah.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
That would be rad. Acid Rain. So like 1/18 scale.
Yeah.
Man. I'm sorry, guys. I should have prepared for this, man. I didn't know.
No.
That's why it's
part of the fun is that it's just like
it's like super small, right?
Yeah, they're 3
they're
3 3/4. Right now they do like a lot of like cyberpunk stuff. They're all over the place.
Yeah. Man, I'm just trying to think of different properties because like my mind is always on Marvel. You know what I mean? So I thought you were gonna ask me stuff like Marvel based.
Trying to shake you up.
I would love, and again, I just go back to my childhood.
Yeah.
Like, I kind of want like small, like cartoon characters from like the 90s. Like whether it be like Hey Arnold characters or like even
imagine that Acid Rain Hey Arnold characters. That'd be
amazing, actually.
Yeah.
That level.
Talk about a pocket figure.
Like a pocket figure, you know what I mean?
Yes. Because you think about the old like animated figures, they were cool, but they didn't move. You know, like they had 5 points of articulation. That was about it.
Yeah, exactly.
That's cool. There you go. Acid Rain, Hey Arnold.
4 Horsemen.
Do you 4 Horsemen?
Mythic Legions, Cosmic Legions?
Yeah.
He's like, man, I hate this.
Yeah.
No. This is good. I would love them to try to tackle something like anime. Like
cool.
Can 4 Horsemen, can you guys do something like
well, you're in charge.
Cowboy Bebop stuff?
There you go. Dude,
that would be great.
Cowboy Bebop before that'd be pretty sick.
That would be actually really cool. I would love to see that.
There you go.
Hot Wheels.
I'm gonna cheat and be like every Fast and the Furious like car that.
Yeah.
I'm sure they already made it because I obviously don't know too much about Hot Wheels, but I just want a Fast and Furious line. You know what I mean?
There you go. That'd be cool.
Yeah, give me that original Supra, which, like you said, maybe they've produced that at some point.
I'm sure they did.
That's a figure. I know you're into DBZ.
Yeah.
Any other interests you'd like to see?
I would love for them to do, because I missed out, like old school slam dunk figures. Do you guys know slam dunk?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Freaking Mario was just selling them the other day.
Yeah, like I missed out when they were like big, and I was like a super young kid. But I wish I could get updated articulation. Like I just never got them, so I just want them back.
Nice.
Do you have a little off topic, but who's your NBA team?
Oh, bro, I'm a Knicks fan. Come on, bro.
Knicks? Nice.
Yeah, I'm from New York, man. You gotta support the Knicks, bro.
They went far this year.
Yeah, man. I'm super proud of that team. There hasn't been a Knicks team that I've really just been so proud of. It kind of sucks how it ended, but hopefully we come back. New York is just so different when the Knicks are good, man. Like everybody kind of goes crazy, and New York teams. No offense to New York teams, it's like we've been sucking for a long, long time, and so there hasn't been any good sports teams to root for, and the Knicks is like one of the bright spots these past couple of years for me.
Nice.
Yeah, that's awesome. I'm a Suns fan. We got shut out first round, so you guys made it further than needed.
Man, we gotta talk what's going on, you know?
Yeah, it's a mess over there right now.
I love the Suns back with Steve Nash though, back in the day.
Yes.
You guys killed it.
Yeah. All right. Side tangent's over. Super 7.
Yeah, what would you do with Super 7? What cartoon would you tackle?
Ultimates line or something.
Yeah.
Man, Super 7. I'm trying to see. I just want them to do more hip hop, man. Like honestly, like I want them to do every single hip hop artist that I love.
So who would be your first hip hop artist if you were in charge of Super 7?
Oh, this is hard.
What's your lineup? What's your top 5 characters in your first wave?
just from a toyetic standpoint, I feel like a Slim Shady type of thing would be fun, right?
Yep.
But like as just like a personal thing, I would just love to see like DMX in that like all soaked in blood, that like in that cover, you know what I mean?
That'd be rad. Like a bloody variant.
Yeah. And I would love to see like Nas, you know, Mobb Deep. And I mean they've done a good job though of doing a lot of hip hop artists that I like, you know what I mean? But there's so many opportunities. I used to always joke all the time when Hasbro had Death Row Records for like a second. Like I really wanted to build like a Build-A-Figure Suge Knight like kind of thing. You know what I mean? Cool. Like I really wanted to do a whole wave of just like Death Row like hip hop artists back in the day.
I mean
like
that video game
Snoop Dogg were in my head, man. Like you know what I mean?
That Def Jam Fight video game. Like if we were to get figures from that video game, oh my
what
goodness.
was that called?
It was Def Jam Fight.
Like Streets for NY or something like that.
It was
I can't remember what it was called.
Yeah.
It was great.
That game's so good.
Good call out though, because they have done a lot of reaction stuff. I would like to see more Ultimates as well.
Oh, that'd be cool.
Pop artists. That would be cool. All right. What else? Mafex.
Who would you do with Mafex?
A few left. You're almost there.
Okay, man. Let's see. I would like Mafex to do like more sports people that I like. So I'm a big soccer guy, so I would love for them to do like all the iconic soccer players that I love. You know what I mean? So, but it wouldn't just be like Ronaldo and Messi. It would be like even more obscure players that I would love, and I would love if I could build out teams of like.
Oh man, that'd be crazy.
You know what I mean? Yeah, go for
it. Is your team Barca?
Yeah, so I think for me, it has to be Barca, and for the Premier League, it would be, you know, Arsenal. So Arsenal and Barca.
Oh, damn. I'm a Chelsea fan.
Oh man, I don't know what happened to you, bro.
I know. It's been a rough couple seasons.
But you and fucking Dan Who, man, you guys both Chelsea fans. Huh? Look at you guys. Okay.
Yep. Yeah.
It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be good. I really need to support MLS more, and I need to support the Red Bulls. I think that would be the team I would support. And you know, obviously, there's USA and Korea for like World Cups and stuff like that.
That'd be cool. Yeah, that would be cool.
It would be good to see more sports figures though, because they like put one out every once in a while. They haven't done one in a long time.
Yeah,
not just NBA, but like soccer would be cool.
Yeah,
I can only imagine how tough it is to get all the licensing and stuff.
Oh yeah,
Mezco.
What would you tackle?
I really like Samurai Champloo. I don't know if you guys know Samurai.
Yeah.
Like, you know, Mezco does good, good stuff. So I think just like anything samurai related with like cloths and stuff like that, I think that'd be dope. You know?
Yeah.
That would be rad because Lone Roach is like one of my favorite Gomez. He's kind of samurai style.
Yeah.
So, that would be great. I'm totally in for that. You got some good ideas, Dan. Amazing.
I'm prepared. Like this is top of the dome, man. I'm just dying right now, man.
That's great. You're almost there. Rebel Tech, Amazing Yamaguchi.
Man, what needs articulation like no other?
Articulation that gives you a headache.
Yeah.
Oh man. Let me think on this one. This one's a little bit hard.
Like a love it or hate it line. Sometimes I really love these figures. Sometimes I can't stand them.
No, shout out to them, man. Yeah, like it's some of their stuff. I got one of their Spider-Mans and it was amazing, but I was like confused. So I was like, oh man, this is great.
I think my favorite figure for them is probably the Joker. He's amazing.
Oh, yeah.
It's really cool.
I don't know, guys. This one's hard for me. I might have to pass on this one.
Take a pass? All right.
Like, That's fair. You haven't passed yet. We'll allow that.
We'll give everyone
take a pass on Yamaguchi. How about third party? Like anything third party that, you got free reign to kind of do whatever you want.
Yeah, so from a Hasbro perspective, I don't know if I could talk about third party too much, to be honest with you, man. So I'm not gonna even like go to like much respect to everybody, who does the third parties. I know the work that goes into it, but I'm gonna pass on that one too. My bad.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, call a cap like a patriotic man or something. You can't be doing that. All right. Let's see. What else? Last one. McFarlane Toys.
Oh, McFarlane. I really like movies, right? So like I think, he does some awesome statues, and I do have some of the DC figures too. I would love for him to just stay within like iconic movies, but like in articulated form, not just statues, right? So like any of the iconic movies that I love, which is like Goodfellas, like Godfather and stuff like that. Like
some gangsters. Yeah, that'd be awesome.
That'd be dope for me.
Yeah, a Casino.
Yeah, that'd be dope. Like a whole Scorsese line, that'd be dope. You know what I mean?
That would be amazing, actually.
A Goodfellas wave with the Build-A-Figure being Polly. That'd be
that'd be great. That'd be great.
That would be awesome.
No, wait. Let me go back to Yamaguchi, man. I don't want to pass on anything. This is pissing me off, man. Give me 1 second.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh shit.
It's fair. I appreciate the hustle.
Yeah, he needs to be number one.
Let me see. God, this is hard. I'm trying to. What are some other? What did other people say?
Well, no, because no one's gotten the what if.
Yeah, they don't get the what if style. It's
you're a variant. You're a variant edition.
Yeah, figures they like or don't like from those lines.
Yeah, they usually say like, oh yeah, I do collect Yamaguchi, and I like this is my figure, or no, I don't because I can't afford them, or I hate them, or something.
I'm gonna say then, like, I know the designs might be a little bit basic, but if they can pull off like a Tekken line, just because I want to see cool action moves, you know what I mean? Yeah. That they could be like posed out, and like, I think that would be dope. And Tekken for me and my brother was like a touch point. So either Tekken or Mortal Kombat, like some of those like crazy fighting games where they can be super articulated in a way that we haven't seen before, you know?
Yeah.
That works actually really well for the line. Fighting figures. We made it, Dan.
You made it.
Ooh. Yo, I ain't going front. That was harder than I thought. And you surprised me last minute, man.
Yeah.
That's the whole point.
You handled it well. You clearly have a sharp mind on you because you can think quick. But I mean, we can't thank you enough for being on, Dan. It's been a really awesome conversation. We learned a lot about what you do and kind of what goes into it. Hopefully you guys did too out there. You learned something from Dan. Make sure you check out in the future what he's going to be providing. I'm sure he's got some stuff up his sleeve that he can't tell us about, but we just can't wait to see it. Anything else you want to say, Dan, before we let you go?
No, I mean, first off, I want to thank you guys for inviting me. And again, this should have happened a long time ago, but shout out to you guys. And yeah, I just want to thank the community again. Obviously, we're business, right? So you guys make this all happen, and I'm just very fortunate to be part of the community. I ask hopefully that everybody is respectful and kind, and be just like peace and love. You know what I mean? Don't be like, I'm not saying toxic positivity or whatever. I'm just saying let's be respectful and let's just enjoy the toys. They're toys. You know what I mean? And exactly. Whenever I have a bad day at the office or something like that, I just think back to my previous profession, which was like in the Army, and I'm just like, yo, I'm making toys now, man. Like at the end of the day, these are toys. Yeah. So let's just have fun with it. You know what I mean? But
loving what you do is important.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, we're gonna let Dan go, and then we'll wrap up the show. Thanks again, Dan. Good having you.
Thank you. Peace out, guys. Peace.
Awesome. Love the end statement there, right? Respect. We don't say that enough. Show respect, show love, show peace, show kindness. Just be nice to each other out there. If you're not getting what you want, just wait. I'm sure at some point you're going to get what you want.
Yeah.
You can't do everything all at once.
Those pre-orders will come in. It's okay. You'll find it.
Yeah.
Man, what a show. That was awesome. had a great conversation. We're killing it. On to the next victim. Let's see who we get. Else we can get into the figure booth. But let us know your thoughts. Share, spread that love. As always, we'd love to hear your thoughts. Let us know down below in the comments. And you can follow me all under Prime to the First on Twitter. They're going back to Twitter. I don't know, X, Instagram, and been more active on the TikTok. So I've been getting some good feedback back there. So I appreciate it as always, guys. Thank you.
You guys can follow me at FigureFanNate on all the socials. Big thanks again to Dan. Hope you guys enjoyed the show. If you're not subscribed, make sure you subscribe. Hit the notification bell so you don't miss when we post a new episode or go live. Make sure you hit the like button and leave a comment below on what you thought. So long, everybody. Thanks for tuning in.
Peace.